Evening, everyone, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever time you end up watching this. This is another movie review, and this begins a three-part overview of the first three Friday the 13th movies. Starting, obviously, with the first one, Uncut, as my edition is. To preface, I'm not a big fan of the Friday the 13th movies. I think Nightmare on Elm Street is a lot better. And the only Friday the 13th movies I think that can stack up to those movies are the second, the third, and the sixth. So the first one, what do I think of it? Not good. Why? Well, the first Friday the 13th is the oddball of the series, given that it doesn't really focus on gore and tries to preserve a mystery as to who the killer is. Which is good because the mystery is absolutely terrible. The twist, and spoilers for all who haven't seen this movie or Scream, the first one, the killer is Mrs. Voorhees, not Jason Voorhees, as everyone always thinks. Mrs. Voorhees is out for revenge after her son dies, yada, yada, yada. But the reason that this twist is so awful is first, a 40-something-year-old woman is not intimidating in the scare factor when it comes to running around and chasing people to kill them. And the other thing is, I mean, what kind of shape is Mrs. Voorhees in to be able to run around this camp and hack up all these people? She chucks a guy through a window. She must be putting in 2-3 hours at the gym, at least. I mean, she's got to be pushing 50, seeing as the movie takes place in 1980, and she killed 2 people in 1958. Yeah. Talking about the violence in this movie, and it's pretty tame by modern standards, which ruins one of the main reasons people actually watch these movies. It's all right, even in the uncut version. It's pretty average by today's standards. I mean, Quentin Tarantino is violent. This is like kid stuff nowadays. Interesting to note, one of the teenagers who ends up getting sliced and diced is Kevin Bacon. Although this may be the most useless movie to play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, considering nobody went on to do anything else. One thing I do have to talk about is the score in this. If you listen to it, you'll find it sounds an awful lot like another famous horror movie that involves mothers and isolated areas where people are murdered. Yes, it's Psycho. The score in this sounds a lot like the score for Psycho, like a mixture of the infamous shower scene and the scene where Mrs. Crane, I believe her name is driving away after taking the money. One thing I do have to point out is some people call this movie a Halloween ripoff. Not exactly true. The reason Halloween was scary is because it took place someplace very like the place where I live, a suburb, where people are brutally murdered by an unstoppable killing force. Friday the 13th, on the other hand, takes place in a summer camp, where it focuses more on like the lesson of stay out of the woods, kids, or you're gonna die. In conclusion, would I recommend this movie? Yes, but not for repeat viewings. It doesn't hold up well. It's too much of a product of the times. It's too stale, too dated. Really, if you think you like this movie, you're actually thinking of the sequels. I'm Hank, signing out. See you again in part 2.